If your cat shows up at the food bowl or approaches you waiting to see if you'll hand them some treats, it could be a false alarm. Well, at least a false alarm for you. Sometimes cats will appear on the food scene just to make sure that the train is still running on time. It doesn't necessarily mean they want food in that moment. Unlike cats in the great outdoors, where food isn't always right around the corner, and some serious effort could be required to secure the next meal, your cat, the house pet, they know they don't have to chase their dinner. However, that doesn't mean they take mealtime for granted. So it's certainly possible that your cat is asking for food simply to make sure it's available. You can't eat what's not there. Your cat could be doing a welfare check on the food itself. Another reason for making a food request and walking away, and this could be a rather obvious one, and that's the simple fact that sometimes mealtime isn't always what it's cracked up to be. You put the food in the bowl, your cat checks it out, and it's just not what they wanted. Some cats will just keep on moving, walk away like nothing ever happened. If you've changed up the food for whatever the reason, your cat could be expressing some serious disapproval by just giving it a glance and walking away. Most cats, they like what they like. And sure, they could have a nice rotation of meals they enjoy, but they're typically not big on being blindsided by something they've never had before, especially if it's way out of bounds from the norm. Felines are finicky eaters. I think we've all heard that line before, likely even decades prior to ever owning a cat, and it's true. Cats do have some very strong preferences: the taste, the smell, the texture. It's like a brand new pair of jeans. Not all of them are created equal, and you have to find that perfect pair. Cats and food. Felines, they won't just eat anything unless they have absolutely no other options. And your pet under your roof, they know they don't have to hunt. So turning up their nose is a sign they want you to dish out a better meal, or at least a more desirable meal. Let's now turn our attention to stress and anxiety. Those emotions are churning. Your cat is mentally taxed. Something is happening in their environment. As humans, we can certainly relate to this one. At times in life, it can be very difficult to eat when there's a bit too much on the plate of life. Some people eat too much, some eat very little, but the general idea, we can all relate to this one. Food is fuel and we need it. Your cat needs it. But when life starts lifing, your cat could simply ignore their favorite meal in the same way that some of us might pass on a pizza. Food can be the very last thing of the concerns for both felines and humans. When there's a rough patch in the road of life, pay attention to how your pet is acting beyond the food situation. They could be giving you subtle clues that all is not well in their world. Try to find the root cause of the problems. Your food concern and being worried about why your pet isn't eating, it could have nothing at all to do with the food itself. And naturally, that leads us to our next concern: why your cat gives the food a glance but doesn't eat, and that involves physical health and wellness. In this example, your cat's body is pretty much making the decision. Sore gums, poor dental health, any number of infections. In this case, food could be desired, very much desired, but attempting to chew is simply too painful, and the pleasure of the food simply isn't worth the discomfort. Does your cat have stomach issues, digestive concerns? Is your pet nauseous and struggling to keep the food down? Just like humans, we all know how difficult it can be to eat when we're not feeling well, especially when we have some measure of a stomach ailment. In some cases, food is the very last thing you want to think about. While your cat could give the food a passing glance, perhaps out of routine if nothing else, consumption could be very much out of the question if your pet is simply feeling a bit sour. Other concerns such as kidney issues, respiratory infections, your cat having what we would view as the common cold or a bad cold. Please take your pet to the vet if you are noticing symptoms that go well beyond lack of appetite or consumption. Your cat is vomiting or having bouts of diarrhea. Be proactive and give your pet the professional care they need and deserve. For our next concern, why your cat seemingly wants food then backs away, well, let's revisit the food itself. In the same way that cats are fond of their favorites and all that goes with it, they're also fond of the freshness. Now, while this could appear like a no-brainer, it's important to know that just because cats, felines in the wild, will often eat things, let's just say things that we wouldn't touch, those anythings and everythings are fresh. Cats like warm meals, whatever that meal is. If your cat's food, even a meal that is usually appealing, has been sitting out a bit too long, is cold from being placed in the refrigerator, or any number of other issues that have caused the meal to lose its texture and overall appeal, it's certainly not uncommon for a cat to give it a glance, a sniff, and then move right along. I spoke of pizza earlier. Sounds great, doesn't it? But I think I'll pass. If it's been sitting out on your kitchen table for a few days, fresh, moist, at least room temperature, or anything else, could find your cat looking a bit confused as they stare at their favorite, or in this case, once favorite, meal. And being that we are senior cat wellness, it's vital to note that one of the potential reasons for addressing the food and then just walking away could be due to your pet's age and everything that comes with that number. Some cats, they just aren't as confident around food as they used to be. In short, some cats struggle to understand that what they're really supposed to consume, what they're supposed to pass on. Change in smell, change in taste, both can really throw off a feline from a confidence standpoint. Additionally, your cat's body, well, eating can sometimes become more like exercise in mealtime. Cats, when they consume, especially from a traditional bowl, oftentimes they assume a crouching position. We've all seen it. And due to tired and inflamed joints, just the standard posture of eating could be enough to turn a cat off to some degree and cause them to think twice about mealtime. Please contact your vet if your cat's eating habits have changed or if they're struggling to eat. This section can very much piggyback on the health observation earlier in this video. Please never underestimate how your cat's health and wellness and potential changes can truly impact your pet's ability and willingness to consume a meal. And certainly, right here on a bit of a lighter note by comparison, some cats, they just like to pull your chain a bit and fool around. Some cats will check out the food and walk away simply because they want your time. They don't want a meal, they just want something done for them. Hey, my person put food in my bowl, isn't that cute? Okay, back to nap time. Sometimes, for all that has been said here today even, sometimes cats will ask for food and leave simply because they can. It's their world and we're just living in it. Cats love to get attention, not a reaction, it's just the nature of things. Getting you to fix the food, it could be, at least at times, just a big game to your pet. They've got your attention, and that's really all they wanted. And as we round things out, the final notable that I'll mention here today regarding this topic is the all too common, I've already eaten. Now this mainly applies to a buffet style setup for your pet, that bowl of food that is always available, even during those, let's call it non-traditional mealtime hours. If you prepare dinner for your cat and they take a look at it and walk away, this action could be the simple byproduct of your cat, well, having eaten just an hour prior. When the food is always available in the bowl, it can become difficult, at least at times, for your cat to eat when you specifically want them to. What's that old expression? Don't eat that piece of candy because it'll spoil your dinner. Something along those lines? Well, the same is very much true here. It's no big secret, no mystery to solve. Your cat could be responding to the call of food simply due to the routine, but with absolutely no plans to eat, because they just did. To the audience of Senior Cat Wellness, what are your thoughts on this topic? Anything that you'd personally like to add? That comment section, as always, it's all yours. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you later.